Hi, welcome to Girl Grows Wildly, where I keep all things peaceful, pretty, and planted with purpose. This video is for anyone who has felt the nudge to grow something real, to make life more slower, sweeter, and more grounded. Today, we're exploring your why. Why do you want to start a garden? And the gentle steps to help you begin. So that is what I am here to do. I am here to motivate you, to get you going, and to get you started with your garden. So let me take you to one of my favorite moments. It's early morning. The grass is still damp with dew. The birds is chirping. You hear the birds chirping. There's no phones. You see the beautiful butterflies. There's no emails. And in this quiet moment, you feel something shift. That is what a garden does, y'all. This is where it is at. Not just food, but peace and healing. Not just plants, but purpose. You don't need acres. You don't need perfection. You just need a reason to start. So I want you to reflect on your why. But before we get started, I want you to stick with me to the very end of this video because I am going to give you some of the most important steps to help you get started, and you do not want to miss them. So please take notes. I want you to ask yourself, do you want to feel more connected to nature? Do you want to grow food that you can trust? Do you crave a space that is calm and quiet and your own? Your answers truly, truly matter. So let it guide what you plant. So, step number one is I want you to gather your tools. Your tools are very important to help you get a garden started. And even if you don't have that many tools, you want to start with these. You don't need much to begin with. You need a trowel, you need a hand rake, you need a hoe, just the basics. With the hoe, that will definitely help you loosen compacted soil. And with your rake, when you start your garden beds or if you're sowing seed directly in the ground, that is going to help you smooth your soil. You want to have a watering can or a watering hose. And with me, with my watering system, I am a permaculturist. So I work with nature and I collect rainwater. And you can do that as well. So you just have to have your watering system set up. If you use a hose, make sure you have it on gentle spray to water your plants. And so just keep it minimal. And if you have to, borrow what you can. Beauty does not need to be expensive, y'all. So, step number two is I want you to buy seedlings and I want you to plant wisely. You can definitely shop at your local markets, clearance sales. What I do is I go to my local nurseries. I do not buy a lot of plants and seedlings at the big box stores like Walmart's, the Home Depots, the Lowe's. I'm not telling you not to buy from those places, but to me, I have found the most healthiest, the least expensive plants so beautiful that does not cost you an arm and a leg to start a garden. So definitely check in your local areas for local garden nurseries and you will find some of the most healthiest, as I said, I'm repeating myself, beautiful plants to get your garden started. You can choose herbs, you can choose flowers, you can start with veggies that you will enjoy. If you want to do both, you want to start a garden with vegetables and herbs and flowers. You may want to just start a garden with just flowers. Whatever you want to start, you can enjoy it. What I do is I pick out, because I'm starting a cottage garden. And what I do is I will pick what is very appealing to me. Far as flowers, And I plant vegetables in my garden that I like to eat. Like spinach is one of my most favorite green leafy vegetables. I love spinach. So in my garden, I'm going to plant spinach. One of my favorite flowers is tulips. I love hydrangeas. I love cosmos. I love salvia. I love so many different beautiful flowers. So I will pick out what's appealing to me. And I highly recommend you to do the same. That way you can enjoy your peaceful place. You can enjoy the foods that you plant by picking out what you like and not what somebody else likes. So choose what you like. I, I advise you to start with perennials, and perennials is a lovely flowers that bloom year after year. An annual, it only lasts one season. And they're fine to buy, but if you want to spend the money every single year replacing those annuals, then you can do that. But I find it where I'm not spending a lot of resources on purchasing annuals. I like the idea of my flowers coming back every single year. So perennials is very popular to me. They're very interesting. They're very like I said, I don't have to spend a lot of resources, and so I get perennials. So them coming back year after year is very appealing to me. So you do what you want to do, like I said, but make sure you either choose perennials or annuals. And when you go in your nurseries, if they don't have signs where perennials are or annuals, you can just ask, and they will tell you exactly where the perennials and the annuals are if they do not have signs. Step number 3 is you want to save and reuse your pots. I will say this in every video pretty much that I make, because this is one of the most least expensive ways that I have found to save my resources is reusing the pots. I collect old pots from thrift stores. I love estate sales. I love yard sales. And I'll even use past plant purchase pots. And I will just keep those and reuse those when I'm starting my seedlings or whatever I'm wanting to plant. I love pots. And you can arrange your flowers not just in a bed, but you can arrange your flowers in pots, and you can group them together to where they almost look like a bed, and they will be so beautiful. I will get more into that as more videos that I do, and I will definitely show you some of the grouping with the pots. You can start your garden in containers before, expanding. And I'll explain that a little bit more later too. You can group them, like I said, for a charming cottage look, and that is exactly what I'm starting, is a cottage garden. I love the old world feel, the French, the English cottage garden. So if you are not following me, I highly advise you to follow me so you can see the transformation of my dream garden. Right now, it's just a basic, it's just a lawn, and it's definitely going to be a no lawn eventually. But moving right along to step number 4 is you want to plan your watering, and your watering system is very important. Our plants have to have water. So you can use a watering can for control and mindfulness. If you prefer a hose, but it has to have a gentle spray setting if you have many pots. So spraying your seedlings, your flowers and stuff, the gentle sprayer is more gentle on the plants. If you collect rainwater like I do, I am a permaculturist and I work with nature. I use the big IBMs. Sometimes I use barrels to collect the rainfall this helps me save money, and it also cares for the planet. Like I said, I work with nature and not against. So you want to make sure that you have a watering system in place. And if it's a hose, use a hose. You use what you have. If you want to collect rainwater, then collect rainwater and water your plants. Step number 5 is I want you to start with seed trays, and this is optional. If you want more control, especially with wildflowers, since I am starting a cottage garden, I love poppies and or herbs or anything indoors. You don't need fancy soil for wildflowers. No potting soil whatsoever. It is definitely too rich. It has peat moss in it. It has perlite in it. It has fertilizer in it, which can make wildflowers weak. It can make them grow way too fast. And sometimes it could burn the seed. So you just want to use a top soil is best. Wildflowers love, they thrive in natural conditions, and topsoil is definitely closer to what they grow naturally, like prairies, meadows, and it can definitely be even in fields. So that is a great tip to write down as far as what kind of soil you use for your wildflowers. Do not use potting soil. And another way why I say to start with seeds when you're even planting wildflowers like me, you can place when you plant your seeds and they grow in these pots, you have way more control. Say like if you want to plant daisies and you want to fill a gap in your border, then you have a flower there that you can take from that pot and fill that exposed ground there, which a lot of times this gives you more freedom for your layout. And cottage gardens are tightly planted with not a lot of gaps. So if you love cottage gardens like I do, you would definitely love this style. Step number 6, you want to begin your layout on a small scale. Even if you don't, even if you're not doing it today and you're dreaming about it, where your pots will go, how will you create the flow with stepping stones, mulch paths, when the sun hits it, morning light is best. You want to just figure out where that sun sets in your garden. If it is, if you're planting food, you definitely want the sun there. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of sun there, at least 6 to 8 hours of sun when you start a garden. So that's very important to remember and to take note of. And gardens aren't just growing soil; they're growing in the soul as well. I like to call it, but not everything has to be deep. Some days it's joy watching something grow, harvesting just a tomato, or smelling a flower. That's enough. So start where you are, grow what you can, and let your garden become a reflection of your own becoming. I normally keep a little journal of how my layout looks, and I have some here. And then I also I'm definitely going to be starting like the 3D as designing my garden as well. But like I said, if you keep the journals, that helps you reflect on, like we have a lot of beetles here. We call them June bugs, and they like to get on cherry trees, my apple trees, and they will just destroy and disease your trees. So I try to write down when they come so I can be prepared for them next season. So it's very important that you keep a little journal of what's going on in your garden, what's doing well in your garden, what's not doing well in your garden as well. So that's what I do. I keep a little journal, and that helps me to stay focused on my growing seasons. So nature always helps me rest. So definitely stay with me. If you enjoyed my video, please leave me a comment, like, and I would definitely like to know in the comment section if you would name just 2 flowers that you want to plant in your garden or that you already have in your garden that you've already started. I would love to know what those are. So thank you so much for watching and have a very, very blessed and beautiful day.